Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Simply Country Cuisine, and I'm Susie. So, a couple weeks ago, we went to a Christmas party, and we were asked to bring heavy appetizers. So I researched some recipes, and I found a ham ball that was just 3 or 4 little ingredients, and I thought, well, we'll give it a try. I think my palate is pretty ruined because I love spice, I love flavor, I love things that explode in my mouth. These were good, and people loved them. They loved them. I personally didn't think they had much excitement to them, so I'm gonna tweak this recipe. So now these ham balls are going to be my ham balls. Now in this recipe, it calls for a very tiny diced ham, and HEB has one. It's called Fricks. I did find it, and it was a perfect ham for this. And remember, I said shred your own cheese, because when you don't and you buy that pre-shredded cheese, mozzarella, cheddar, any kind that's pre-shredded, they toss it in a preservative that keeps it from sticking in the bag, so it's shreddy on whatever you are cooking. But it doesn't melt well. Shred your own cheese. This recipe also calls for 1/2 cup of butter, which is a stick. I'm not, a regular butter has salt in it, so that was a little bit of seasoning, but not enough. And then it has a couple tablespoons of Worcestershire, and you have to use your hands. I tried using a fork, I tried using a rubber spatula. No, you got to use your hands to get it in there, so take those rings off. All right, we're going to put our 1/2 cup of butter. And, I forgot to set it out, so I popped it in the microwave to soften it up a little bit. And it won't matter, not for this. It's not like a cake. This recipe calls for 1.5 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. And I use sharp cheddar. There we go, about 1.5 cups. 1.25 cups, 1.25 cups of this finely diced boiled ham. Now, if you've cooked up a ham, and if you're like Mark and I mean, when I'm doing a ham, I try to do it when I'm having a big group of people. I'm going to do one for New Year's this year. It's going to be Mark and I eating it. So I'm going to have a lot of ham left over. Get one with a bone in it, so you can have many different frozen things. You can have ham and bean soup. Dice up some, keep it in the freezer. I didn't have any, so I had to do this. And this was workable. All right, we have our butter, we have our cheese, we have our ham, 1/4 teaspoon of Worcestershire. Yeah, let's see what 1/4 teaspoon looks like. Whoops. Maybe a tablespoon. That's what I put in the other day. I want these to have a flavor, and they didn't have one. So I'm going to put in about 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, because my butter did have salt in. And I'm going to put in what I think might be 1/4 teaspoon of onion and garlic powder. I mean, how can that be bad? I mean, it's ham, it's cheese, onion, garlic. I mean, all of it goes together. Just give it a measure in your hand. That's good enough. Line the bottom of your little sheet pans, because the cheese. And the other day, I was scraping cheese off my sheet pan. So this also calls for 1 cup of AP flour, all-purpose flour. And believe it or not, they actually puffed up. It didn't have the baking soda, baking powder in it. It just was all-purpose, and they did puff up a little bit. Oh, by the way, have you seen the lovely new counters that Mark is building into our kitchen? He's making me butcher blocks. And if Dina can come close, he's burning in a little emblem on the counters. Isn't he just, he is such a gift from God for me. I love this man so much. And now that he's retired, I am getting all sorts of fun things in my house. Okay, now we have put all of our ingredients in here. Now you see this, stirring this up with a fork or a spatula is not going to get it. You have to use your hands. It's very dry. So the rings have come off. My hands are impeccably clean. And I am going to smush that butter into this flour and ham, and it'll take a second or two, so be patient. I've been squishing this together now for about 2-3 minutes because the butter wasn't quite soft enough. So really try to be vigilant, not like me and forget to set the butter out. You don't want it runny. You don't want your butter melted. You just want it soft. And as Dina can see, if she can come up here and look at my bowl, it's almost, see, it's all glued together. All right, so now what you want to do is you're going to form about 1-inch balls. And you're going to continue, you know, working this together. And just place them. They don't grow. They do puff a little bit, but they don't grow, so they're not going to stick together. I found that out with the first batch that I made. Oh, and don't try and use a scoop with this. I was so frustrated, I almost threw my scoop away. It's very hard to clean this because it's sticky. Now I've created my little ham and cheese balls. I have 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I think I probably could, the other day I did them a little smaller. We're going to actually have these for lunch today with some vegetables, and so I thought it would be a little bit more of a meal. Okay. I'm going to put these in the oven. I got 16 ham balls out of these. I'm going to put them in a 350-degree oven for about 15 to 18 minutes normally, if they were 1-inch balls. The other day I had to cook them for about 20. I'm pretty sure these are going to have to cook about 20, 25 minutes because they're larger. All right, my meatballs are in the oven cooking right now, and while they're cooking, and this is a good time to mix up your sauce if you choose to use a sauce with it. This is a sauce that I used the other night at our church function, and this was very good. This gave the meatballs a really sweet taste, and it was good with that. You don't have to do the sweet sauce, but this consists of a 1/2 cup of, and I use my good Greek honey, a 1/2 cup of honey, 1/4 cup of just yellow mustard. I used 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, the one with the mother in it. Remember, that's the healthy one for you. And a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, a pinch of salt. Mixed it up. And this makes a very runny dressing, a very runny sauce. Dina will install the ingredients for both the ham balls and the honey mustard dressing in the comment section below on the recipe cards. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our videos because we're just moving right on up the ladder. And when we get to 1,000, I've already thought and planned this out. There's going to be a very, very, very cool gift that you could win. All right, now welcome back. Remember, we made our sauce while the ham balls were cooking. I'm gonna get them out of the oven now. Aren't these beautiful? All right, so the other night when I went to my Christmas party, I had this really pretty basket and I put parchment in it and I set the ham balls up around there and put my sauce in the center so I could contain it together, and folks knew that that went with the sauce. Well, if I'm eating this at the table, I thought I would just put them on a little platter, and I'm gonna put my glasses on for this. They're pretty hot. We just would just take our little meatballs, our little ham balls, I'm sorry, and just scatter them around on our platter. And this is the color you're going to want to achieve because it gives them just a little bit of stiffness. Here we have our holiday ham and cheddar balls with our sweet honey mustard dip. At the party, you could easily just serve it with toothpicks, or they could pick it up with tongs, put it on their plate, and dip it in with their fingers. But I'm going to use a fork because it is nice and hot. And I will cut into it so you can see how it looks on the inside. And I am going to drizzle a tad of this on one and one without to see how they compare to taste. I'm gonna try the one without the drizzle first, because the other night, remember I said I'd cooked these. I personally thought they were kind of bland. We added the extra ingredients this time. We added garlic powder and onion powder and salt and pepper. Oh, much better. Make sure you add that garlic and onion powder to it. That really, really did a trick. And Dina has posted this on a recipe card on the video. And we'll try one with the sauce. So good. That's really good. That is great. I'm so glad you joined us today for holiday ham and cheese balls. Remember to like, subscribe, and share our videos. And on Wednesdays, you'll be alerted of our video comes out once a week. And we're featured on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're on Facebook, it'll take you right over to our YouTube channel. And if you don't have a place to worship, please join us at any one of our Glad Tidings locations. One church, 5 locations here in Central Texas, and we would love and welcome you at any one of them. God bless, and we love you so much. Bye-bye. Oh, Dina.